cheap to stay ahead in this job. Drink surf like it's liquor. Street life, I have you catching up to God quicker. Stick to your liver. Let the bang on you like a blood or a cripper. So much bread, I'm a chillin'. This squeeze so much money off of dummies, off of dummies. Yeah. I'm Mr. Body Catcher, Slaughter Gang Soul Snatcher. Ain't no regular F-150 pizza.
The NCAA sponsors 90 national championships in 24 sports across 3 divisions each year. We cheer for the nearly 500,000 student athletes in the game and in the classroom. For more information or to find a championship near you, visit ncaa.com. The NCAA thanks our corporate champions, AT&T, Capital One, Coca-Cola, and our corporate partners, Aflac, Buffalo Wild Wings, Buick, Dick's Sporting Goods, Degree, Great Clips, Intuit TurboTax, Invesco, LG, Marriott, Nabisco, Nissan, Pizza Hut, Reese's, and Wendy's. Their support enhances NCAA championships and the educational and athletic experiences of nearly 500,000 NCAA student athletes. The NCAA thanks official equipment suppliers Fiskars and Smitty for their support of NCAA championships. Their contributions help enhance the educational and athletic experiences of nearly 500,000 NCAA student athletes. Do you plan to play college sports? Visit ncaa.org/playcollegesports to learn more about NCAA eligibility requirements. We are all part of a community, and we all play a role in keeping our community safe. While you're watching the game, keep an eye out for suspicious activity. If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities. Together, we can protect our community.
Dwayne, do we know how softball finished up?
afternoon, and welcome to the 2023 NCAA Division II Women's Lacrosse Championship at the Mosley Family Field in Tampa, Florida.
40, 88.
Tonight's first round game features the Flagler College Saints versus the Florida Southern Moccasin. Here are today's starting lineups. First for the Flagler College Saints. Attacker is a freshman from Phoenix, Arizona, number 2, Greta McGinnis. Attacker is a sophomore from Flower Mound, Texas, number 5, Anna Day. Attacker is a freshman from Hollywood, Maryland, number 7, Carly Teeple. Midfielder is a freshman from Millington, Maryland, number 15, Ella Pinder. Midfielder is a sophomore from Lowell, Massachusetts, number 19, Carly LaFerriere. Defender is a sophomore from Mount Vernon, New Hampshire, number 21, Eva Stein. Midfielder is a sophomore from Bainbridge Island, Washington, number 22, Kenzie Dillon. Midfielder is a freshman from Queenstown, Maryland, number 26, Jessica Wright. Defender is a sophomore from Manorville, New York, number 40, Jen Seba. Midfielder is a freshman from West Friendship, Maryland, number 43, Molly Sloan. Anko is a sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona, number 88, Lauren Urbanera. Head coach of the Saints is Grant Keelam, assisted by Shelby Harrison and Chris Peterson. And now for the Florida Southern College Moccasin. Attacker is a grad student from Wayland, Massachusetts, number 2, Jackie Stoller. Defender is a junior from Doylestown, Pennsylvania, number 5, Ryan Kelly. Midfielder is a sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, number 6, Reese Colwell. Attacker is a senior from Howell, New Jersey, number 8, Olivia Mangisi. Attacker is a senior from Edders, Pennsylvania, number 9, Madison Taylor. Midfielder is a junior from York, Pennsylvania, number 13, Abby McFerrin. Defender is a grad student from Flanders, New Jersey, number 17, Gina Barone. Midfielder is a sophomore from Everett, Washington, number 24, Maria Reed. Attacker is a grad student from Boca Raton, Florida, number 25, Lizzie Lynch. Attacker is a freshman from Senator Marish, New York, number 29, Haley O'Donoghue. Defender is a freshman from Bainbridge Island, Washington, number 34, Harper Muma. And Engel is a senior from Milford, Connecticut, number 40, Sydney O'Neill. Head coach of the Mocs is Kara Reber. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. sportsmanship by student-athletes, coaches, and fans. We request your cooperation in supporting the student-athletes and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, derogatory comments, or other intimidating actions directed at athletes, officials, team representatives, or other fans will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the premises. We appreciate your cooperation in creating a safe and positive game environment. Respect, it's in the name of the game. As a reminder to all spectators, please be alert at all times during today's games. Lacrosse balls can accidentally fly into the seating areas. Be alert to the action. The NCAA and the University of Tampa want everyone to have a safe and enjoyable time watching today's games. Thank you.
Good afternoon from the Namoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex on the grounds of the University of Tampa campus. This afternoon, the Florida Southern Mocs taking on the Flagler College Saints in NCAA playoff action. I'm Bruce Wozniak here to call the action for you alongside Morgan Basler-Pease. And Morgan, wow, looking at the one-loss records of these two teams, Flagler coming in at 17-1 and Florida Southern 16-3. There's going to be a good team that's going to lose today.
Yeah, this is also going to be a really good matchup. You know, Flagler has seen some good competition, their only loss being to number 5 in the country. Other than that, they've won all 17 games. And, you know, obviously we've seen Florida Southern go up against UT, very strong defensive team that likes to go in that backer zone. So it'll be interesting to see if that's what they're going to come out against today in Flagler. And if, you know, they're going to look to settle it or push the ball more like they typically do with their fast breaks. So should be a good matchup between these two teams.
Florida Southern is wearing all white in this game. They will start off going right to left. Their starting goaltender is senior Sidney O'Neill. And for Flagler, they are in all black. And we'll start off going left to right here in this first quarter. And their starting goaltender is Lauren Ribadnera. And we're getting set for the draw here at midfield. And it looks like Greta McGinnis for Flagler. And trying to catch the number on the Florida Southern player. On a very hot Tampa afternoon. By the way, that was Maria Reeves on the draw for Florida Southern. Our game time temperature is 92 degrees. As you see, the game's opening possession goes to Florida Southern. And we had the game earlier today where UT defeated Rollins by a score of 15-13. And no reason to believe that this game won't be just as exciting as that one was. As the Mocs go to work here in the opening minute of play. And an opportunity here, and no shot available for Terre. And, Madison Terre taken down. 2 Flagler players defensively. And Terre puts herself back together. And Madison Terre, very dangerous offensively. She had 52 goals and 15 assists in 16 games this season. In front, they score!
Great ball movement there by the Mocs. You know, Terre took the foul, and she did super quick passes, fully knowing that she had the defender put forward behind her. And great ball movement, quick passes, able to finish that shot.
That was Haley Dalio who got the goal. It comes 1:27 into the game. And so Maria Reeves goes back out there for the Mocs to take this draw against Greta McGinnis once again. And the ball's out and chased down and picked up by the Saints. And the person of LaFerrier. Pinder looking and gave it back to LaFerrier in behind the Mox net now. And I think that Jessica Wright felt that she got a stick up high and was waiting for the official to blow the whistle. Play carried on. They do get the call eventually. And on the restart, the Saints pass over. LaFerrier sends a pass into the corner, and now in behind the Mox net. And Pinder had to get rid of it quickly as the defense collapsed on her shot. They score! And the Saints tie it up. Well, no, they're going to wave the goal off.
They're actually going to call a charge on that, and it's going to stay Florida Southern ball. But it looks like they're going to talk about it because it seems to be that they're thinking that she got pushed in, and they're actually going to give her the goal. So they're saying that she got pushed in, even though she landed in the crease. They're going to take back the charge, and they're going to make the goal good.
Wow, an interesting turn of events. And so the Saints do tie it up. Carly Teeple gets the goal. Morgan, not something that you see real often with officials reversing their own call right on the field and without the use of replay, I should add. But good for them for wanting to get the call right. So
yeah, that's why you have 4 officials out there that are working to, make sure that they see everything from every angle. So you'll see a lot of meetings after each goal just to make sure that they're all on the same page.
So McGinnis and Reeves on the draw once again. For what it's worth, 6'0" Greta McGinnis against 5'4" Maria Reeves on these draws. Ball's out, and it seemed as though the Mox had a bead on it, and finally picked up by Terre, and she slows it down on the far side of the field. McFerrin sends it over Mangisi. Behind the net it goes. And now up for Stoller. Pass in front. Oh, great look at the net. And the Mox shut down there as Flagler coming back the other way. Lizzie Lynch says, didn't do anything. Molly Sloan went down to the field, now carrying on. It's Jordan Green. Flagler sitting up in behind the Mox net. Over it goes to Morton. Pass back down low, and trying to come out front was Summer White, and the official stopping play. And this will be Jessica Wright with the free position. 1-on-1 against Sydney O'Neill. Holds onto it, scores! Nice job there by Jessica Wright to outlast Sydney O'Neill and pick the far side of the net.
Yeah, even though she had that outside hash there, she was able to get that lane and just take it right into goal, making it a 2-1 lead for Flagler.
McGinnis and Reeves will continue their dance. Toe-to-toe out at midfield. The official steps out. Ball is out. And bobbled. And now picked up by the Saints. Off to the races goes Pinder and sends it over now as T-Pole sent it back. And it's worked up top to Pinder. Now to T-Pole again. Ball is loose. And nice job there by T-Pole to box out her opponent and continue this possession for the Saints as it's sent in behind the Mocs net. And good work there on the goal. Lexi Morton, very shifty, and gets out in front and beats Sydney O'Neill for a 3-1 Saints lead.
Flagler goal was scored by number 3, Lexi Morton. Her goal was an assist.
Yeah, the Saints noticed that they had that lane there behind the crease, and she noticed that she could go strong with her left hand, go right around the crease. There was no other defenders in sight to make that quick slide, so it was just a 1v1 take right there, and she was able to finish it, which I got to be honest with you, Bruce, I'm a little surprised to see that it's already 3-1, and we're not even 5 minutes into the game.
Make no mistake, a long drive down from Flagler College, St. Augustine area. The Saints have come to play. Have themselves a 2-goal lead. And the ball's out and right into the stick of Abby McFerrin. And the Mocs will go back to work offensively now. McFerrin under some pressure. There's a ball on the ground and picked up by the Saints. Opportunistic. And now it's coughed up. And the Mocs regain possession. Flagler had an opening there. And the Mocs able to take the ball back. And heavy pressure on the far side.
And it looks like they're actually going to give Flagler a yellow card here. They're going to say that it was a little bit dangerous of a cross-check to the body. So Mocs are going to be man up here for the next 2 minutes.
2 Flagler players were on Gianna Murphy, who eventually ended up on the ground. Kenzie Dillon gets the penalty, 2 minutes for dangerous contact. So a chance now at the extra attacker for Florida Southern to cut this to a 1-goal deficit. Moved over here now for Tear. Looking, sends it in the middle.
And they're actually going to give another yellow card here, another dangerous contact to the head.
That's
so
a
now
tough
they're going
break
to be
for Ella Pinder. She was obviously going for the turnover and just got a little too aggressive.
Now you got a 7v5 working down here on the Mocs offensive end.
Saints penalties, number 15, Ella Pinder. 2 minutes for a check to the head.
2 minutes check to the head to Pinder, and so Dalio puts it back into play. And Stoller over for Tear. Tear cuts inside, hit the goalpost. A great effort by Madison Tear. Mocs able to get the rebound. And there's a pass, and here's another opportunity.
Yeah, they're going to call the shooting space on that, which I don't exactly agree with. Both girls led in with their sticks. In order for it to be shooting space, you actually need to be in front, and it'd be dangerous if the player were to take a shot. But either way, the ref saw it as a shooting space call, so Tara's going to go ahead and get this free position.
And breaks in and scores. So they take advantage of being in a 2-player advantage, what with the calls being made against Flagler. As I look over to the penalty area and see one of them released. That would be Kenzie Dillon coming out. And so Flagler still with Ella Pinder over in the penalty area. And the Mocs, if they get this draw, can try to get another goal with the extra attacker and get it tied up. And at the last moment, Maria Reeves had directed her teammate to change her position. And Florida Southern ultimately ending up with the ball. And so Colwell moves it up ahead. Stoller leaves it off. Here's Tear again. Defense is wise to her. So over instead, and the shot taken by Stoller, and they're going to say she scored.
Yeah, it looked like originally they were going to try and call it for shooting space, but it actually looked like by the time she released it and they made the call that it was a simultaneous whistle. So they're just going to keep the goal here, but that will release that last yellow card, so we should be all even here on the field.
Yeah, I thought that the whistle had gone before she shot, but as I've said before, that's why I'm the broadcaster and not the referee. So the Mocs take advantage of the 2 penalties called against Flagler, and the game tied at 3 with 8:35 remaining in the opening quarter. And on the draw, it's out and picked up by Verone. Florida Southern gains midfield. Pass up ahead is dropped, now picked back up. Kelly sends a pass over for Tear. Tear backs up. Her pass up top now. And McFerrin sends it over to the far side of the field. Down behind the Saints net. That's Stoller back there. Out in front, they score! Lizzie Lynch and the Mocs come all the way back from a 3-1 deficit to take a 4-3 lead.
Great patience and great ball movement there by the Mocs. You know, they took advantage of the fact that even though that they were all even on the field, the quick ball movement, Flagler couldn't keep up with it, and they just had that quick slide on the crease there, and they were able to finish the shot. And it's now 4-3 Mocs after it was just 3-1 just a couple minutes ago. So I don't know, but it was definitely a little bit of a game changer from the first game we just broadcasted, where at the end of the first quarter it was only 2-1.
Well, and you have said on multiple occasions that the goals do come just that quickly in this sport. And so what was a 2-goal deficit is all of a sudden a 1-goal lead. And the ball is out. And that time, by the way, it was Claudia Tanksley for Flagler on the draw. As you see a player go down for the Saints. That was Pinder. That went down to the field as play resumes. Sent over to the far side now. And to this side. And again, it looked like Wright was waiting for a whistle. Play carries on. Breaking in is Pinder. Gets the pass off. And now down low. In behind the Mocs net. Still plenty of time. 40 seconds on the shot clock. And here's an opportunity in front. They score. Ella Pinder. And the Saints have tied it up at 4.
Pinder noticed that after she beat her player 1v1, you'll notice that down low there, the Moccasins defense had their back turned to the ball. They didn't see their girl in the ball, and with their backs turned, Pinder noticed that she had that lane wide open, so she went ahead and took advantage of that and just kept going to cage.
8 different players have scored in this game. 4 different Saints players and 4 different Mocs players, and with 6:45 to go in the first. This is turning into what you would expect out of NCAA playoff lacrosse. The draw at midfield. And the official still not quite set. And now he's ready. Ball is out. And chased down by Madison Terre. Does she get to it? Well, the Saints do a nice job raking. And now Flagler is going to turn it over. As quickly as they had started up the field, it was all of a sudden turned over. And so the Mocs with a chance to take the lead here as Staller goes in behind the net. Jackie Staller, a grad student from Wayland, Mass., puts it into play. Here's Terre. Nice pass, and ducking under the stick was McFerrin. And down around the other side, Terre takes a shot. And down on the ground is Madison Terre.
They're going to give another yellow card to Flagler, and they're going to say that it was dangerous contact, but for it only being the first quarter, this is a lot of yellow cards for Flagler here.
And it's going to be Kenzie Dillon again. She had gotten one before. So 2 minutes for dangerous contact results in another shorthanded situation for the Saints. The ball is loose, and now in the back line, picked up by Flagler. That was a good heads-up play by LaFerriere defensively. And right in front of the Saints sideline, it's going to be turned over. Morgan, these calls against Flagler, is it too aggressive? Is it too excited and emotional, or are they just kind of borderline calls that you're surprised to see the officials making?
No, I'm not really surprised to see the officials making these calls. You know, at the end of the day, their job is to, you know, keep the players safe but keep the game going with a steady flow. You know, Flagler is a little bit aggressive here with their cross checks to the head, everything like that, and better to get that under control now rather than later in the game.
And you see another stoppage in play here as the Mocs will restart from the far corner. Abby McFerrin gets the official's whistle, puts it back in, and up top it goes to Terre. Now quick passing and turned over.
Right idea with that feed there. They just weren't able to finish it. I mean, you're going to see that Florida Southern has a very high-pressure ride. And you can see that Flagler's struggling a little bit to get this clear off just based on, you know, the high-pressure ride that the Moccasins do have.
And still 30 seconds left in the penalty against Dillon.
And it looks like Florida Southern is going to take this timeout and try to figure out what they want to do on this offensive possession here.
We will take a timeout as well and be back with more NCAA playoff lacrosse. Shots on goal to this point are 5-4 in favor of Florida Southern. Draw controls are 6-3, also in favor of the Mocs. And play now set to resume. Flagler looking to kill off these final 10 seconds of the call against Dill. And into the corner it goes. And now the penalty expires. And still 41 seconds on the shot clock, so the Saints will go to work offensively here. Looking to take a 1-goal lead here in the latter stages of the opening quarter. And behind the Mocs net. Stays with the Saints. This is right up top. It goes to Pinder. Over to the far side of the field. And LaFerrier. Back over for Pinder. Pinder seemed like she had the defender beat. And instead they cycle it in behind the Mocs net. LaFerrier crossing up with Pinder, a little flip pass. Pinder and the Mocs able to cause a turnover, and back they go the other way. And great speed as Florida Southern with an opportunity here. And they just pass into the corner, and we'll wait for the rest of the offense to catch up.
Absolutely great 1v1 defense there for the Mocs. You know, big defensive plays like that are really what help decide a game.
That was Haley O'Donohue, by the way, that led the charge for the Mocs. And she gets a well-deserved rest heading off on the far side of the field. Play continues, and Staller takes a shot, and the Saints get the rebound. Rabodnera had gotten a piece of it, as you see the official signaling that this is possession for Flagler. And Rabodnera starts it up. And they play it back to her. And she comes to this side of the field for Seebach. Seebach crosses midfield, carries on, and Jen Seebach still on the move, and finally slows it up and leaves it for Morton. And Jen Seebach gets a hand from the Saints faithful that have made the trip here to Tampa. On the far side of the field, that's Trainer. A pass down low, and now goes in behind the Mocs net. A little flip pass. And Davis sends it up top is Tanksley. And Tanksley, two defenders, gives up a pass instead. It's Caitlin Trainer on the far side of the field. And Trainer sends it for Morton. Morton, a nice burst of speed.
They're actually going to call a shooting space call on that, which I'm a little surprised to see again with these shooting space calls, because she's driving to the cage, her head is down, she was in no position to shoot. So I'm a little shocked that they called shooting space on that, because you do need to actively be looking like you want to shoot and take that shot. But either way, she gets the outside hash on this.
So Lexi Morton, one-on-one against Sydney O'Neill, scores! Or are they going to call a crease violation, perhaps?
One official has a crease violation. The other one says that she was pushed into the crease and that the goal should count. So they're going to meet right now and figure out which direction this is going to go and see what everyone saw and come to a decision that way.
Interestingly enough, all four of the Flagler shots on goal have gone in the net.
The goal is going to stand, and they're going to say that she was pushed into the crease, and that's why she fell into it after the shot. So the goal is going to stand for Flagler here as they take a 5-4 lead against the Mocs.
Morgan, regardless of which team you're the coach of, how concerned are you that Sydney O'Neill has 0 saves so far in this game, and then at the other end of the field, Lauren Rabadnera has 1 save?
That just tells you that the offensive players for both teams are hitting their corners and they're able to finish their shots. But, that also tells you that defensively both teams need to start stepping up, which we've seen some great 1v1 defense for both teams over here. And I started to see that the Mocs went into a little bit of a backer. We'll see if they keep that. They are known for going into their backer defense. Just right now, as you'll see, Flagler is going to be awarded that draw control just because of the push that happened down here when they were awarded the goal. So they're going to start with the ball here.
So the Saints in a 1-goal lead, just 12 seconds, are letting the clock run. And play is not going to go towards the front of the net, so they're not going to be able to get a shot away. And the first quarter will end with Flagler in a 5-4 lead. And we'll be back with the second quarter right here from Tampa, watching NCAA playoff lacrosse. Back live and ready to start the second quarter of play between the Flagler College Saints and the Florida Southern Mocs. I am Bruce Wozniak, joined by Morgan Basler-Pease, and the first quarter shots on goal were 5-5. Draw controls were 6-4 in favor of Florida Southern. And I believe, Morgan, that in the game that you and I did earlier today, which was UT against Rollins, I want to say there were 13 turnovers at the end of the first quarter. Here there's only 6, 3 for each team.
Yeah, so you could definitely tell that this game's a little bit cleaner than the first game, but, we did notice in that first game that we just broadcasted earlier today that both teams were able to clean it up a bit and get the game in more control, but you'll notice that those turnovers really decide what the score of the game's going to be. With all those turnovers in that first game, it was such a low-scoring first quarter, and we're 5-4 only going into the second quarter of this game.
As opposed to that one, that was 2-1 after one. This is Claudia Tanksley for Flagler, and Maria Reeves for Florida Southern on this draw to start the second quarter. Ball is out, heads towards the far sideline, and pulled down. Good job there by Madison Terr for Florida Southern as they get set up in the Flagler end. Terror leaves it back for Dalio. And on this side of the field, Margot Shoppy. Stoller holds on to it behind the net. And Stoller started to make a move out in front, and the pass ultimately picked up by McFerrin, and she plays it back for Terre. Terre, 3 defenders on her, and wide open is Stoller.
A little bit of a miscommunication there for Flagler's defense. All 3 of them slid the ball, and they left, it looks like Dalio wide open in the middle of the field. And then when they turned to go slide back to her, she was
Stoller scores! Wow, Jackie Stoller took maybe one step and fires that one past Rabadnera.
Yeah, Stoller was able to draw that shooting space call just by having all 3 defenders slide 2 balls. She was left wide open, got the pump fake, took the free position, just a one-hop step and shoot, and she was able to finish it.
So 57 seconds into the second quarter, the Mocs tie it up. And Tanksley barking orders back to her teammate, Jen Seebach. And now we see Seebach moving up. And right on the circle on the other side, Trainer, and she's going to be the one to chase it down. And Trainer picks it up, and in she goes to the Mocs end of the field. And a pass back now for Teeple. Pass over now for Tanksley. Sends it into the corner, knocked down. And Tanksley able to pick up the loose ball. And now it's missed. Oh, and down goes Jackie Stoller. And here come the Mocs. Back the other way. Colwell. Pass up ahead. Gianna Murphy. Behind the net it goes, and they'll try the far side of the field. Tear. And McFerrin now sends it over, and Dudley relays it down into the corner. And Murphy on the move back there. Gianna Murphy looking in front. No white jerseys there, so she goes to the far side of the field. Tear has a lane. Madison Tear, and that one goes high and out of play. Possession stays with Florida Southern. Lynch, nice passing and taken down was Gianna Murphy. And a call against the Saints. And so Gianna Murphy will have a free position attempt here. Murphy ready. And scores.
Murphy made it look really easy there. She was on the center hash. She has good speed, so all she did was just run it straight in, move the goalie, fake high, shoot low, and she was able to finish that shot.
The Mocs trailed 5-4 at the end of the first quarter, and they have the first 2 goals of the second quarter and a 6-5 lead. Tanksley out there again. Maria Reeves for Florida Southern. And jockeying for position over here were Gina Verone of Florida Southern and Ella Pinder. As you see the Mocs with the ball now as Tear sends a pass. That Staller relays back up top for Dalio. And now this is McFerrin with it. And on this side of the field is Staller. She sends it down into the corner. Gianna Murphy. Murphy, nifty little moves down there. Has to outlet it, however, back up top. Tear down low and stopped was Lizzie Lynch. And the Saints look out. The official says, yep, it's still Flagler ball play on. And so Seebach plays it over to the other side of the field. And Flagler going backwards. Played over to this side of the field now for Seebach. And connects. A whistle there. Eva Stein. She will put it back into play for the Saints. On the far side of the field, that's Molly Sloan. Sloan, as down went, I believe, Gianna Murphy. And now it's up top with Pinder. Pinder holds. LaFerrier. And now over for Onuga. LaFerrier. And the pass is knocked down. Good job there defensively by Harper Muma. And a break here for Florida Southern. Madison Tear in front of the net. And the pass for Staller misses and chased down and picked up by the Saints. And one of the players' protective eyewear flew off. Amy Waters.
It was a great defensive play down there by Muma for the Mocs, and she was able to get the cause turnover, bring it down the field. Unfortunately, the Mocs weren't able to take care of the ball in that possession. However, because Flagler did lose their protective eyewear without any contact, it just means that she wasn't safely wearing them. They fell off, no contact, so they're actually going to award the ball over to the Moccasins on this.
A 1-minute call to Amy Waters, a player who had lost her protective eyewear. So they get her for an equipment violation. And so Florida Southern leading by 1, chance to increase that with the extra attacker. Pass in front, and taken down was Abby McFerrin. Takes an extra minute and now gets up. And McFerrin felt that one. And is well enough that she will take this free position attempt now against Lauren Rabodnera. And sends the pass down low instead. And behind the Saints net it goes in front. And they score! Dalio. And the Mocs do take advantage of the call against Waters and go up 7-5.
Smart play there by not taking the free position. If you're not confident with taking that shot, move the ball around, and that's exactly what they did. They did a quick ball movement, be a man up down on that end, and they were able to move the ball quickly and find the open girl in the middle there and finish the shot. So great decision making there by the Mocs.
So the Saints have shot themselves in the foot several times, being on the wrong end of a good-sized handful of calls, and in that case, the equipment violation against Amy Waters. As Claudia Tanksley, the freshman from up in Atlanta, Georgia, out there ready to take this draw for Flagler against Maria Reeves. Maria Reeves, who I have to mention, comes all the way from what I call the corner state, Everett, Washington. Long, long way from home. And Maria Reeves, her team is in a 7-5 lead. A couple of the officials in a conference over on the far side of the field.
They're going to bring the coaches in just to talk about, I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about, but they're going to bring the coaches in to try and figure out what the officials are not in agreement on right now.
Now we're ready for the draw. Ball is out and chased down and picked up on one bounce by Trainer. Trainer on the restart. And to the corner it goes to right. Back to Trainer again. And now up top for Tanksley. Tanksley, nice little move. Cuts inside, scores! What a great individual effort by Claudia Tanksley. And the Saints cut into the deficit. It's now 7-6.
Flagler set up a stack over on that far left side, leaving Tanksley wide open on that right side to set up for an ISO. And Florida Southern just didn't slide quick enough, so Tanksley just took it all the way to goal to finish and making 7-6.
There's a reason that Flagler was 17-1 this season, and you see them right here toe-to-toe with Florida Southern in this NCAA playoff matchup. And now Tanksley and Maria Reeves once again in the circle for this draw. And jockeying for position, Caitlin Trainer alongside Gina Verone. And it's the two of them who seemed as though they were going to battle for it, although ultimately it ended up with McFerrin. And here's Terre on the run. Terre sidesteps a couple of sticks and carries on into the corner. And closely defensed there by Molly Sloan for the Saints. And Terre has to take it behind the Saints' net. It's a pass over to the far side of the field and now up top to McFerrin. McFerrin over for Stoller. Stoller looking to her left and does give it, in fact, to Hannah Hale. Hale over here now for Alders. Behind the net it goes. And Mangisi tries the other side of the field. That's Terre looking to go one-on-one. Terre beats the defender, gets in front. Terre shoots. Oh, a good save there by Rabodnera. Good scoring chance for the Mocs that gets thwarted as Seebach sends it up ahead. Off to the races goes Trainer and sends a pass over, and thinking better was Oniga. That's one of those plays where sometimes the emotion, the excitement of the big game takes over and you take an ill-advised shot. And so nice decision by Oniga. As you see the free position attempt coming up here for Flagler. And Oniga decides to back it out. Looks up top, sends it back behind the net instead. And looking for an open teammate is Jordan Green. And Morton sends it up top. It ends up with Trainer. Trainer, and the protective eyewear comes off of her head. And this time we're going to get a call against Florida Southern.
Yeah, they're going to say the contact was dangerous. And it looked like what happened was that the Mocs defender there, when she collided with the Flagler attacker, her stick hit the attacker's stick, and then that stick caused her stick to go up and knock her protective eyewear off. So they're going to give her the yellow card, and Flagler's going to be man up here for the next 2 minutes.
So it's Gina Verone. 2 minutes for a check to the head. And as Morgan just mentioned, an opportunity here for the Saints having the extra attacker. They can tie this game at 7 as they set up now in behind the Mocs net. Up top it comes. Nice little spin move there by Morton. Little flip pass. And Pinder, they work it quickly in behind the Mocs net. There's a pass for LaFerrier. And now breaking in, she scores! Ella Pinder. And the Saints do, in fact, take advantage of the call against the Mocs and tie it at 7 with 6:24 to go in the half.
Great ball movement there by Flagler. You know, they took advantage of the fact that they were man up, so they moved the ball quickly around until they found the open player. And once they found her, she took advantage of that lane that she had to finish that shot.
And I see Claudia Tanksley already out there instructing a couple of her teammates on what she wants from them as she gets out to take this next draw. So it was 5-4 in favor of Flagler at the end of the first quarter. And the Mocs have won this quarter so far 3-2. And that puts us in our current 7-7 tie. And interesting to note, Sydney O'Neill, the Mocs goaltender, still not credited with a save in this game. And ball is out. Chased down by Flagler. And picked up by Pinder. And this is Teeple. She sends it over for Morton. And Morton will send it into the corner where Wright was waiting. She takes it behind the Mocs net. Little flip pass now for Pinder. It's on the ground, and each team chasing it, and ultimately picked up by O'Donohue. And so Florida Southern starts it up. Here goes Muma. Harper Muma across the Flagler line. Into the corner it goes. And that's Mangisi behind the Saints net. Outlets it to the far side of the field. And they cycle it back up top for McFerrin. McFerrin starts her move, stops, and now over it goes. Nice spin move there by Gianna Murphy. Cuts back in the slot, drops a pass in the middle, and no shot available, although Dudley continued working and then was taken down.
You can see this is a pretty aggressive game on both ends of the field. You know, there's already been, I think, 4 yellow cards given out. To the point where, you know, players have lost protective eyewear. And
wow, great ball movement there. And Haley Dalio ultimately puts it in the back of the net. Oh, you almost have to give a second assist on that one. Just a wonderful passing play.
you'll see that Flagler was trying to get out of shooting space, worried that they were going to get that called on them. So instead of focusing on making contact on the moccasins going in, they were leading with their sticks rather than going full contact on the body, and moccasins with the quick passes were able to finish that shot there.
That's a very pretty goal. And it gives the Mocs an 8-7 lead with 4:42 left in the second quarter. And now the draw between Tanksley, and I can't see her number, but I'm just going to assume it's Maria Reeves because she seems to do all the heavy lifting for the Mocs that way. And the ball is out, and for the record, it was Reeves. Saints in possession. And to the far corner they go, and now in behind the net to Teeple. Morton up top for Trainer, and over for Tanksley. Tanksley started to beat her check, and then sends a pass in the corner, and they work it behind the net. Over here now for Trainer. Trainer relays it up top. Tanksley trying to get past the defender, can't. Drops it off for Trainer instead. And to the corner it goes as Teeple pushes it behind the net.
Great 1v1 defense there by the Moccasins. They weren't able to come up with it, but they did slow her down from getting to the cage.
Nice play by Jessica Wright. A lot of duress there, and she was able to maintain possession as this is Morton with it now. Morton takes a bounce shot and scores.
Saints goal, scored by number 3, Lexi Morton. Criminal rookie assistant.
Again, Flagler set up Morton for that ISO up top there, and she took advantage of the fact that she had that whole right lane and was able to free up her hands and get that shot taken.
Morgan, you have coached collegiately, you coach locally. I got to ask, at this point, all 8 shots that Flagler has taken have gone in the net. 0 saves for Sydney O'Neill. Do you think about making a goaltending change?
You know, I think that's something that Kara Reber might start looking into. When you have a game like this where you're in the NCAA bracket, goalie saves are important in a game like this. So I could see Kara Reber having a conversation with the goalie coach and trying to figure out, do we keep her in for the second half or do we make an adjustment?
On the other side of the ledger, the Mocs have 11 shots on goal, which means that Lauren Rabodnera has made 3 saves. And you see Flagler in possession here again, as it's Trainer running it down. Trainer stops, gives it for Teeple. Pass over now. Green sends it into the corner. Behind the net it goes. That's Morton back there with a little head nod to direct her teammates. Gives it for Trainer, and over for Tanksley. To the corner it goes again. And back behind the net, Wright pops out in front. Jessica Wright goes down.
They're going to say that when she was taking it 1v1 there, that there was a little bit of illegal contact there. So she's going to get the free position. I believe she's going to get it at that center hash, which sets her up for...
And now they have changed goaltenders, in fact. That's Riley Rittberg taking over for the Mocs between the pipes. And the first shot she faces, she stops. And so Riley Rittberg comes into the game and is immediately thrown into the fire in the form of a free position attempt and stops it. And so the Mocs go back the other way. There's a pass into the far corner. Relayed back for Dalio. Pass in front. Bounce shot. Oh, good save there by Rabodnera. And now a loose ball, and 2 Mocs players go down. And neither team able to come up with the loose ball. battling for it on the midfield stripe. And finally, the Saints able to get the possession as Eva Stein, they send it over to the far side of the field. And I believe we have a timeout being called by Flagler. And it comes with 100 seconds left in the first half, so we will take a timeout as well and be back with more NCAA playoff lacrosse.
Correction, timeout, Saints.
Back live following the Flagler timeout. 1 minute 40 seconds to go in the first half. And an 8-8 tie as the Saints get ready to put it into play from just in front of the box sideline. And now the ball is in. And Seebach sends it back to her goaltender. And they move it up this side of the field as Sloan gets past a Mox defender. Sloan with a pass now for Teeple. And over it goes to Morton. Morton looking into the corner, now cuts through the middle. And no shot available yet. Morton in a high traffic area and sends it into the corner. And we have a whistle.
Yeah, that was great defense there by the Moccasins. You know, every time she went to go drive 1v1, they had the slide come. So I'm trying to figure out what the call is here. I think what they're possibly looking at is a 3-second violation where the Moccasins defender was in the crease, or I'm sorry, in the 8-meter for 3 seconds, not marked up anyone, which it looks like that's the call here. But either way, obviously we see that Flagler was able to finish it.
Lexi Morton with the goal. And what a back-and-forth game, as it's now 9-8 in favor of the Saints. And that will be the fourth goal of the game for Lexi Morton. .64 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, Lexi Morton here having a great game, and you could see that she's a redshirt senior that actually came from the University of Florida. So, you know, it's obvious that she's been in high-pressure games and situations like this before. So no surprise to see a redshirt senior coming up strong and prepared to play for a bracket game.
Lexi Morton, 70 goals in 17 games.
That's quite impressive.
Saints with a chance here before halftime to go up by 2. As this is Morton looking behind the net, now turns back the other way. Pass for LaFerrier. And Pinder sends it into the corner. Clock winding down, 20 seconds left in the half. There's a shot by LaFerrier that goes out of play. Flagler puts it back in quickly. Pass and breaking in. There's a shot, and there to cover it. The Saints attacking. 4 seconds left. Oh, and a save there by Rittberg. And the horn goes to end the first half of play. And this sets up for an exciting second half.
Yeah, with a close game like this, 9-8, I feel like we're in the same situation that we were in the first game that we were talking about earlier. But, Bruce, I did want to make mention of the fact that you did notice that the Moccasins did go into their backer defense that we had mentioned earlier, and no surprise that they went into that. However, I'll be interested to see if in the second half they come out starting with that, because Flagler picked up on it very quickly and they started passing the ball very quickly. You saw that they were able to get multiple shots off right there. So I'll be interested to see if Kara Reber decides to stay in that backer or if they're going to switch back to that high pressure man defense going into the second half.
A great second half on the way for sure. And come back with us after halftime for more NCAA playoff lacrosse. The second half. In the first half, the shots on goal were 12-11 in favor of Florida Southern. And turnovers, 6 for Flagler and 5 for Florida Southern. And Morgan, 12 fouls called against Florida Southern to just 5 for Flagler in that first half.
I'm a little surprised by that. I'm wondering if those numbers are off a little bit because I do remember Flagler getting 4 yellow cards in the first half of that game. So I'm a little surprised to see that they're all going against Florida Southern because it's been a very physical matchup here.
So play resumes with a 9-8 Florida lead, or excuse me, Flagler lead. 2 Florida-based programs, of course. Saints coming all the way down from St. Augustine. And there's a pass over and lost by Morton, and Sticks getting up there, and play continues. And this might be what you were saying about letting them play a little bit, letting things go a little bit more than we might see during the regular season.
Yep, absolutely. You're going to see that the officials are going to let a little bit more go, same as the previous game. And, as players and coaches, you got to realize that it comes down to your skill and the little things and not focusing so much on the calls and what calls you did or didn't get.
Well, and as much as it's easy for me to sit up here and say it, I think when some of these plays occur where the sticks do get up a little high, you almost have to just play through it instead of stopping and turning around and looking to see if the official's making the call or not. Since they're not, there's a good chance that if you get caught standing around, you may end up losing the ball.
Great defensive play there by the Moccasins on that ride. And as I said earlier, the Moccasins have a very aggressive ride, so you're going to see high pressure on it.
Tear, a nice pass down low. Bounce shot, scores. Jackie Stoller. And a great play there by the Mocs.
Yeah, you'll notice that the Moccasins had that high pressure on the ride. Was able to get the cause turnover, and then it was a 2v1 to goal. So great job there on the Moccasins ride, and you're going to keep seeing that high-pressure ride the rest of the game by them.
And the fact that that goal was the product of Madison Tear and Jackie Stoller, no surprise. They were the top 2 point getters on the Mocs. And they evened this game up at 9. 1:42 into the third quarter. And this game has the makings of going down to the final minute of play. We're early in the third quarter, but said how the lead has gone back and forth. And now you see Flagler going back to work on offense. Morton sends it in behind the net. And again, a stick that comes up high.
And they're going to give another yellow card. I have to say, Bruce, this is a lot of yellow cards in one game. I think this is 6 that we're at right now, and we just started the third quarter. Both teams are very aggressive, but it's going to get to a point where if they keep racking up these yellow cards, it's going to get to a point where they're going to become non-releasable. You're going to have to play player down the rest of the game. So both coaches should really be talking to their teams saying, play aggressive, but play clean. There's no need to keep having these yellow cards keep occurring.
So 2 minutes for check to the head to Gina Verone, and it was Jessica Wright who was on the receiving end of that. As play resumes now, and LaFerrier sends a pass into the corner, and Wright sends it to the other side. Back out it comes. Pinder down low it comes, and in front. Oh, great save there by Rittberg. And the Saints, do they get control of the rebound? They do. The official behind the net says possession to Flagler. And Morgan, you have to credit both Coach Kara Raber and goaltender Riley Rittberg as making that change from Sidney O'Neill as We've seen it bear fruit, and there's a shot that goes wide and out of play. Rittberg has made 3 saves in just under 6 minutes of play, and O'Neill played 26 and a half minutes and had no saves, allowed 8 goals.
And make that 4 saves right there. You know, great decision making by Kara Reber and her goalie coach Rachel. You know, when one goalie is just not in it and that happens, you know, put the other one in and see what they can do. And she's proven that she's ready to play, and she was ready for this game with 4 big saves.
In front, they score.
And those big saves are leading to goals like that in transition. So great job there by the Florida Southern coaching staff and coming up with the big saves there.
Sammy Garassi gets the goal.
You'll notice that Florida Southern definitely had the numbers. It was a 4v3. They did quick ball movement from that transition play. Was able to dump it down low and finish the shot. So now, Bruce, we have a tied game, 9-9.
And Claudia Tanksley was ready for the draw and headed towards the sideline, and now she's coming back out there as she and Maria Reeves will do the honors yet again. And although these are, as I mentioned, 2 Florida-based teams, it's 92 degrees here in Tampa, and I'm sure even warmer on the field, and then turn that up even more because of the intensity of this game and what's at stake. And on the draw, the ball is out and nicely controlled by Madison Terre. And she takes it down the far sideline, stops on a dime, and now sends it back up top.
This is going to be another game, Bruce, that's going to come down to draw controls. You'll see right now that they're pretty even in the stats with draw controls here, 11 and 11. So I think you're going to see these next 2 quarters come down to draw controls.
There's a pass that connects with McFerrin. For Stoller now. Stoller. Nice defensive switch by the Saints, and the stick came up high from Pinder on Jackie Stoller.
Yeah, because that foul occurred outside the 12, you know, the defensive player does have to go 4 behind. But she won't get the free position just based on where the foul took place.
Sammy Garassi, she had possession of the ball but extended both of her arms with her palms up as though she was looking for something that she wasn't getting, presumably from the officials. Play carries on and sent in behind the Saints net, dropped, picked back up. Spin move back there, pass in front, and it ends up in the stick of Flagler goaltender Lauren Rabodnera. And the Saints start up the far side. Played now for Pinder. Has help here on the near side in the person of Eva Stein and gets it to her. And now Stein drops it back for Teeple. Teeple leaves it back for Morton. And up top, they move it over to the other side to LaFerrier. Down behind the Mox net it goes. Morton, and the defense slid over just in time. Otherwise, she was going to have the whole open side of the net. LaFerrier over for Pinder. Breaks in front. 3 defenders on her, and she scores. Ella Pinder, wow. These teams just keep trading goals. It's 10-10.
you'll see that the Moccasins did go back into that backer defense, and Flagler clearly knows how to beat it because they're doing the quick ball movement to where the backer can't keep up, and that's exactly what happened right here, is that Flagler moved the ball as quick as possible. The backer and the Moccasins defense can't keep up with it, and that's going to end up leaving a player wide open. So great job recognizing that the Moccasins came out in that backer defense, and way to recognize that, you got to get the ball moving, keep the ball moving, and finish the goal here. But 10-10, what an exciting game.
Each team just continues to answer the other. And now we have just the latest draw out at midfield as the official steps out. And the ball is out, and we have a whistle.
They're going to call for early entry, it looks like, on Flagler, so it's going to stay Moccasins' ball here.
Quickly they get it ahead to Stoller. Up top it goes. And Lynch sends a pass over for Terre. Terre dancing around on the far side. Now cuts back, and the defense stays with her. A pass instead for Gianna Murphy. Murphy looking for a lane. Nothing there. Pass for Terre in front. There's a shot. Scores! Haley Dalio. And the Mocs 11-10.
Haley Dalio. The assist to number 9, Madison Terre.
Madison Terre is usually a threat on the scoring end, but she has had some amazing assists today, and she's really been able to finish those passes to the center there. So great job by Madison Terre, and good finish by Dalio there to, see the field and recognize the open cutter there in the center.
Haley Dalio has 4 goals in this game, and Stoller has 3. So the two of them accounting for 7 of their team's 11 goals. And now the draw following the 21st goal of the game, and we still have a quarter and a half left to go. The game here earlier today, there were a combined total of 28 goals as UT defeated Rollins 15-13. And now the draw, not possessed by either team yet. And finally, picking it up for Florida Southern was McFerrin. And here goes Madison Terre. Terre gets past a couple defenders. Sends a pass into the corner to Murphy. Murphy waits, sends it down to Stoller behind the Saints net. Stoller working back there, spins out in front, scores! What a great individual effort by Jackie Stoller for her 4th goal of the game. And it's a 12-10 Florida Southern lead.
Stoller just kept working the crease down there. She didn't get it on the first dodge, didn't get it on the second dodge, but that third dodge, she was able to free away from her defender there, and no slide came from the Flagler's defense. So she took advantage and did the nice crease roll there and was able to finish that shot. So you can kind of see right now that momentum is in the Moccasins' favor. But again, I think it's going to keep coming down to who's going to win the draw and take possession there.
And as I mentioned just a few minutes ago, teams keep coming back on each other, so a 2-goal lead might as well be a tie game with as fast as these two heavyweights keep trading blows. And we have a player down for Florida Southern. That's Abby McFerrin. McFerrin slow in getting up. And McFerrin looks like she's heading over to her sideline.
Yeah, she's going to head over to the sideline there, and you're going to see that she's going to get, it looks like she's going to get checked out by a trainer there. She kind of took a hard fall there with the held stick.
And play resumes with her team in possession. That's Mangisi. And sends it over for Muma. Pass up ahead now. And a couple of nifty moves, cutting inside, scores! Haley O'Donohue. And Florida Southern on a little bit of a run. It's 13-10.
You'll see that was another 1v1 take there for the Moccasins. And Flagler defense is really going to have to get together. And you're going to notice that they went down and huddled to discuss what they have to do to stop these 1v1s from happening. But I can tell you just from seeing up here, Bruce, is that Flagler's defense just isn't sending that second slide quick enough. So if you beat that first defender and that second slide's not going to come, that makes for a great opportunity and very easy one for the Moccasins to go to goal.
The Mocs have scored 5 of the last 6 goals. It was 9-8 in favor of Flagler, and now 13-10 in favor of Florida Southern. And now the draw at midfield, and these starting to become more important. And by the way, that was Allie Miller out there taking the draw for Flagler. So Grant Kellum, the head coach of Flagler, trying a different look that way, as now Miller goes off the field on the far side. 6:22 to go in the third quarter. Pass into the far corner, now behind the Mocs net. Morton calls for it, gets it. Pass connects with Pinder. Now in front, they score. Great passing and a good finish there by Carly Teepole. As the Saints make it a 2-goal game, it's 13-11.
That was great ball movement there by Flagler, and you'll notice that the Moccasins defense got a little scrambled on there about the picks that were happening in the center, and there was a little bit of a miscommunication there, so that's how Flagler was able to free up and get that shot taken.
And they go back to Miller again. The Saints do on this draw to oppose Maria Reeves. Allie Miller, 5'10" sophomore from Bowie, Maryland. Ball is out, and Madison Terra seemed like she was going to have it for Florida Southern. And then LaFerrier steps in and takes it for the Saints. And here comes Flagler looking for more. LaFerrier over for Pinder, and to the corner they go. And now down behind the Mocs net, a pass out in front. And unable to get a shot on goal was Teepole. But the Saints do pick up the loose ball. That was Oniga who came up with it. And this is LaFerrier. Over now for Morton. Behind the net it goes. Pass in front, and no call made there. As you saw Jordan Green go down. Play carries on. Still plenty of time, by the way. 36 on the shot clock for Flagler. And now we have an off-ball whistle.
They're going to call the Moccasins defense here for 3 seconds. And that's one of the things that you have to be careful of when you're in that backer zone, is when the offensive team is moving the ball that quick, you got to be careful that you're not getting caught in the 8, not marked up on anybody. So that's going to be a 3-second violation call there on the Moccasin defense.
So a free position attempt here. And thwarted. And a little worse for the wear was Jessica Wright on that free position attempt. She slowly got up and dusted herself off. Florida Southern, meanwhile, going back the other way. They get across the Flagler line. McFerrin, pass over for Terror. Into the corner it goes. Murphy looks behind the net, now heads back up and sends it to Stoller. Stoller changes hands, gets a pick there from McFerrin. And Pinder able to keep up with her. Nice passing down low and taken down. Wow, it was Lizzie Lynch.
I'm a little shocked to see that they're going to call a charge on that. You know, she really hadn't made any motion towards the cage. I actually was looking to see if they were going to give Flagler another yellow card because it did look a little out of control there.
And down went Lizzie Lynch again, as it was Seebach. And Jen Seebach puts it back into play from right in front of her own sideline. Sends it over here for Eva Stein. It was Kaylin Figueres. And now this is LaFerrier. And the pass misses for Jordan Green. And so Florida Southern with 3:11 to go in the third and leading 13-11. They start the ball up out of their own end, as this is Harper Muma. Muma, a long pass ahead, connects, and over now for Terror. Terror pass down low for Stoller. Up top, that's McFerrin. Terror turns the corner and gets it in front. They score! Emma Dudley found herself wide open one-on-one against Rabadnera. And the Mocs go back into a 3-goal lead.
Madison Terror with another assist from up top there. You know, I always tell my girls when I'm coaching, Bruce, that if you see your defender's ponytail, I mean, she's not paying attention to you, and that was a great field awareness. Backdoor cut. Madison Terror, and I believe that's her 4th assist of the game. So, you know, as much as she is an offensive threat with scoring, clearly she's just as big of a threat with her assists as well and able to see the field and her cutters.
Yeah, as much as we might talk about Jackie Stoller with 4 goals and 1 assist, Madison Terror has 1 goal and 4 assists. Now, the players that you expect to come through, of course, Haley Dalio with 4 goals are coming through. And the Mocs in a 14-11 lead with 2:39 to go in the third. And again, these draws becoming bigger and bigger the later and later we get into this game. Ball is out, and yes, that was Allie Miller again for the Saints.
They're going to say it was a held stick there on Flagler, so it's going to stay Moccasins' ball.
I'm watching Allie Miller staying out there, and now she goes off the field. I had been noticing before how quickly they were rotating her out after the draws. And meanwhile, the Mocs setting up in the offensive end. That's McFerrin. Murphy gives it back for McFerrin, and to Murphy again. Over now for Terror. Terror looking to go one-on-one and gets a pick and finds another defender, gets past her, and down she goes. And there's going to be a lot of dirty laundry tomorrow from all these players that keep hitting the deck. So many of them have ended up down on the ground. Madison Terror just the latest one as she puts her protective eyewear back on.
Yeah, you'll notice that Madison Terror was looking to feed it again, and she noticed that, you know, all of her teammates were completely covered by Flagler, but no one was guarding her. So she took advantage of that and she was actually able to get the call to get this free position.
Oh, and a great save there by Rabadnera. And a big save as the Saints need to get back to work at the other end of the field and try to cut into this 3-goal deficit. Carrying on his trainer. And a push from behind. Jessica Wright was in possession there. Gives it to Trainer. Trainer fires it back into the corner. And behind the Mox net it goes. That's Morton. Up top it goes to Tanksley. Trainer to the corner again. And Wright opts to send it behind the net. Now it's out on this side and back up top to Tanksley again. And cutting in, there's a shot by Trainer and a good save made by Rittberg. .43 seconds left in the third quarter.
They're going to say it was a push there by the Moccasins. And they're actually going to give her that outside hash there.
So free position for Flagler here. Let's see if she tries to cut in front for a better angle against Riley Rittberg. Indeed she does, and she scores. That's Caitlin Trainer. And so back to a 2-goal lead for Florida Southern. Allie Miller will do the honors once again against Maria Reeves. And a chance here, Morgan, for Flagler, if they can control this draw, can get it to a 1-goal deficit before the quarter ends.
Flagler's going to want to win this draw control and see if they can just cut it down to a 1-goal difference and going into that fourth quarter.
Ball is out, and I'm going to call that against Florida Southern. And so here comes Flagler looking for that potential last goal of the quarter. 25 seconds left in the third quarter. Little opening there for Pinder. And she gets it back. Down low, here's Morton, and a good save there by Rittberg. 10 seconds left. And they will, well, I was going to say that they're going to try to pressure Rittberg, but she's going to stand back there and just let the quarter expire. And so Florida Southern leads at 14-12. And the fourth, not necessarily final quarter, is just ahead here watching NCAA playoff lacrosse. Back with you at the Namoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex on the grounds of the University of Tampa campus. Bruce Wozniak joined by Morgan Basler-Pease. And it's a 14-12 lead for Florida Southern, a team who has played a couple times on this field this season. They were recently on the wrong end of the Sunshine State Conference Championship game, losing here in overtime to the Tampa Spartans. A game that they led at one point 10-2, and the Spartans not only came all the way back, actually had a 10-goal third quarter, but as I mentioned, won it in the extra session. And meanwhile, Florida Southern back out in the field as Flagler finishing up their huddle on the sidelines. Morgan, what do you see for this fourth quarter from both sides?
Yeah, so Bruce, from both sides, you're going to see that draw control is going to be super important. Moccasins haven't gone out of that backer defense, which Flagler has been doing a great job against it. It'll be interesting to see if they stay in that backer defense or if they're going to switch to more of a high-pressure man-to-man defense. But either way, it's really going to come down to draw controls, and you're going to see that on the circle out here, Madison Terra's been very successful on the draw circle, and they've been marking her fairly tight there, trying to not let her get in that front position to gain possession of the ball.
And again, it's Allie Miller for Flagler. And indeed, that was Terre who was beaten to the ball by Ella Pinder. And so the Saints, with the opening possession of the fourth quarter, trailing by 2 as they gain the Mocs line. To the corner it goes. Right with a pass, and now they work it to Morton on the far side. Up top it comes for Pinder, and now over to this side as LaFerrier sends it to the corner. And Wright with a pass over. Good passing here by the Saints.
And they're going to call a shooting space call there on the Moccasins defense, so Flagler will be awarded the free position.
And it'll be Lexi Morton, who has 4 goals in this game. Morton one-on-one here against Riley Rittberg. And Morton shoots it wide. And the official on the far side says possession stays with the Saints. Pinder looking for room. Sends a pass over instead. Morton sends it behind the net. Sent over to this side now to LaFerrier. Up top it goes. And back to LaFerrier again. And 2 defenders converge on Morton. Up top it comes to LaFerrier. Now Pinder sends it into the corner. Dropped. Picked back up quickly by Wright. And down behind the Mocs net, Morton is finally checked. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Morton shot, and Rittberg with the save. Good ball movement by Flagler. But Riley Rittberg there to close the door for Florida Southern.
That's a big save there for Rittberg, to come up with that and give Moccasins the possession of the ball.
And left virtually unwatched is Haley O'Donohue all the way down into the Flagler end, although a loose ball now. And turned over. Saints go back the other way. On the run is Jordan Green. Green slows it down, gives it to Pinder. Pinder over for LaFerrier. Over now for Morton. Down low and back to Morton again. Over it goes. Pinder shoots, scores! Ella Pinder, and we have ourselves a 1-goal game. It's 14-13.
Flagler moved the ball here and found that Pinder was wide open up on that top right side, so they swung the pass up to her, and she was able to just take her 1v1 to the goal and make this a 1-goal game.
all the drama that you would expect from an NCAA playoff game. And we see Maria Reeves coming out for Florida Southern now to join Allie Miller for this draw. Miller directing her teammate Caitlin Traynor as to where she wants her positioned, and over her back right shoulder is Jen Seabach. And right into the stick of Abby McFerrin for the Mocs. And McFerrin settles things down. That's Jackie Stoller with it. Stoller starts her move, puts on the brakes for McFerrin. Into the middle it goes in too high traffic of an area, and Seabach with the takeaway going back the other way for Flagler. Seabach upended.
Yeah, Florida Southern's really going to want to start to take care of the ball down there on that offensive end. You know, you really don't need to force a pass like that into the middle, especially with only having a 1-goal lead. You want to really start to take care of the ball. You know, we're in the fourth quarter. Unless it's completely wide open, don't force a pass like that. Pull it out and make sure that you're completely ready to do it.
And Seabach has it knocked from her stick. And the Mocs come away with it. And we're going to have a timeout called here.
And as I had said before, is that, you know, the Moccasins have a very high pressure ride, and that was seen right there. And they were able to take possession. And now that they have possession of the ball, Kara Reber says, okay, let's call the timeout. Let's take a moment to collect ourselves. It's a 1-goal game. What do we have to do to keep this game in our favor?
We will step away as well and be back with more NCAA playoff lacrosse. Back live following the timeout. 11:10 left in the fourth quarter. And Florida Southern currently in a 1-goal lead. And again, have to talk about the play of Riley Rittberg. 10 saves in this game in just over 22 minutes of play. And her teammate Sydney O'Neill played just 4 minutes longer than that and made 0 saves and allowed 8 goals. Rittberg has allowed 5 goals. And a great move by Florida Southern coach Kara Reber. And that goaltending change has greatly helped her team as they are looking to increase their lead to 2 right now, as you see the ball go into the corner and right below the scoreboard. That's Dudley, and now she gives it up for Murphy. Up top it goes. Mangisi over for Stoller. Stoller directing her teammates. Tries to get around Seabach. Stoller tries the other side. There's a lane there and nothing to shoot at, however. And still directing traffic while she has the ball and finally gives it up for Murphy. Murphy avoids a check. Sends a pass down low. Back in front. They score! A nice play there by the Mocs.
Absolutely great give and go there by Murphy. You know, she dumped it down low, and when she cut through, she kept her stick up the whole time, and she was able to get in front of her defender there. They were able to get the quick feed off, and she was able to finish. So great give and go play there by Murphy.
That's a textbook goal. And importantly for Florida Southern, gives them a 2-goal lead. The draw controls, by the way, are 16-15 in favor of Florida Southern. So these truly are 50-50 balls. Neither team able to really get a strong foothold in that category. And it's going to be picked up by Reeves. And Reeves leaves it back now for Colwell. Colwell stops, looks for help. To the far side of the field. And now up top, it's sent over to this side for Murphy. Murphy looking to go one-on-one against Seabach. Turns back the other way, now being chased by 2 defenders. Seabach on her, and the ball is knocked free. And a call made there. And, taken down was Haley Dalio. And so a chance now to extend the lead to 3 as Dalio with the free position attempt. She already has 4 goals in this game. And makes the pass instead. And Stoller sends it over. Dudley sends it down behind the net. Pass out in front. They score. Gianna Murphy. And it's 16-13 Florida Southern.
Right when the shot clock expired, too. I believe that was Lizzie Lynch with the assist there. And, you know, a little bit of a diving assist from behind cage there, but she was able to get it off and, you know, hit her open attacker right there in the middle. You know, big assist game here for the Moccasins. You haven't seen many 1v1s. It's been a big assist game, and, you know, that's really made a difference for these Moccasins here is that, you know, their field awareness and their lax IQ of seeing the open players, seeing the cutters, recognizing that their defenders aren't marked up on them and they're ball watching. So great job by the Mocs there for having a big assist game.
So 16-13, Florida Southern in the lead. As we see Maria Reeves out there going head-to-head with Claudia Tanksley again.
They're yelling because the score is wrong.
Our score is 16-13. Florida Southern trying to hold on here. Flagler just keeps coming back. And the Saints hope that they have another rally, so to speak, left in them. As there's a discussion by the officials on the far side of the field. for all intents and purposes, in front of the Florida Southern sideline. And congratulations again to the University of Tampa winning this afternoon's, I should say this morning's early game. It was an 11 o'clock start. It finished in the afternoon. You can call it morning or afternoon. 15-13 over Rollins. It was played right here on this field.
A long discussion being had down here with the 4 officials, so I'm interested to know what they're discussing that's taking this long. And it looks like they're going to pull both coaches in and have a meeting with them to go over what they've discussed.
We thank you for spending your Friday afternoon with us here at the Namoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex on the grounds of the University of Tampa campus. You see the Spartans logo out at midfield.
Officials going in for another meeting, and Bruce, it's one of those times where I wish I was down on the field and I knew what was going on. Because they've been discussing this for a while. They've brought both coaches in. I thought that they figured out what they were discussing, but clearly they didn't because they're meeting again.
And to update you on some of the statistics from this game, 23-22 are the shots in favor of Flagler. And again, it underscores the importance of the play of Riley Rittberg, who has made 10 saves. The draw controls are 17-15 in favor of Florida Southern. 22 fouls called against Florida Southern to quote-unquote just 8 for Flagler. And each team has committed 10 turnovers. As the officials have finished their conference, although one of the officials is now over talking to both of the head coaches. They are directly on the midfield stripe, albeit on the far side, in front of the scorers table. And it's worth noting that each team has 2 players with a 4-goal game. Lexi Morton and Ella Pinder each have 4 for Flagler, and Jackie Stoller and Haley Dalio each have 4 for Florida Southern. And I want to make sure to mention Gianna Murphy as well, who has 3 for the Mocs.
Still quite a long discussion being had down there with both head coaches, and it looks like they just finished up down there.
Morgan, you mentioned before about Madison Terre and how important she's been on draw controls. She's credited with 6 so far in this game, as is Abby McFerrin. And it's time to resume play as the officials are done with their discussion. And now Tanksley and Reeves at it once again. And the ball is out. And that one's picked up by Trainer for the Saints. Leaves it back for Teeple. And over now for Morton. Behind the net it goes. And Green a whistle there. Caitlin Trainer was breaking in.
Moccasins are going to get called there for a shooting space call, so Trainer's going to go ahead and get that first inside hash free position.
Caitlin Trainer does have a goal in this game. Here she is now one-on-one against Riley Rittberg and shoots it wide. Flagler maintains possession, 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And a pass intended for Trainer missed, and four of them run it down. Flagler able to maintain possession as it's sent over to the far side for Anna Day. Day makes the pass. Morton sending it over. Trainer into the corner it goes, and back to Trainer again. Shifty move by Morton. Bounce. Oh, hit the goalpost. And they'll get a reset of the shot clock. And another opportunity as the Saints continue working offensively here. And Morton takes a shot, and again, they're going to say she scored. I heard the whistle go first, and then the ball went in the net. And the officials signaling a goal for the Saints.
So what they're going to do is that they originally called the foul, but because she went and was able to get her shot off and score, then they're just going to call it a goal and move on to the next draw.
So Lexi Morton gets goal number 5 of this game, and her team's deficit now reduced to 2. And this game well over 2 hours, and we still have 7 minutes, 12 seconds remaining. And I know this was a scheduled 3 o'clock start time. We might have actually started a minute or two early, and it's now 5:07 Eastern time. On the draw, the ball is out. And it's going to be chased down by McFerrin for the Mocs, and she is able to gain possession and now sends it up ahead for Terre. Terre with a pass over for Murphy. This is Staller. Some reinforcements coming on the field for the Mocs. And it's on the far side with Lizzie Lynch. Lynch into the corner. Fakes a pass, makes a move in behind the Saints net, and gives it to Garossi in front. Staller was calling for it. And instead, Lynch drops it off. Shot scores! Haley Dalio gets her 5th goal of the game, and it's back to a 3-goal Mocs lead.
That was a beautiful drawn dump play there by Lizzie Lynch to Dalio. She went to go for the ISO on that crease play there, was able to draw the slide early, leaving Dalio wide open there, and she dumped it right off her. So beautiful drawn dump play by the Moccasins, and we have another 3-goal lead.
And so once again, we will see Claudia Tanksley for Flagler stand in for this draw against Maria Reeves. Tanksley, some final words with her teammate LaFerrier. Ball is out, and McFerrin with it again for the Mocs. And away goes Florida Southern. Terre with it on the far side. Into the corner it goes for Staller. And now behind the Saints net. On this side now, this is Murphy. Staller took a quick look at the shot clock and the scoreboard. Gave it to Terre and now gets it back. Stoller glances to her teammate on her left, breaks down on the right side, and takes it towards the sideline, and now sends it back up top for Murphy. 40 seconds on the shot clock. Tear changes hands, now switches back to her right again. Stoller felt she was bumped. Play carries on. And down there behind the net is Garassi. Garassi looking in front. And they go back up top. And now 15 seconds on the shot clock. Tear starts a move towards the net, is ridden out in front, and they score. The quick stick, Lizzie Lynch finds the back of the net, and it's 18-14, Florida Southern.
Another beautiful assist there by Madison Tear, finding Lizzie Lynch there with the shot clock running down. You know, she was getting double teamed behind the crease there, but Lizzie Lynch noticed that she had no one on her, so she's like, I'm going to stay here, I'm going to ask for it. Again, Madison Tear with beautiful field and space awareness was able to find Lizzie Lynch in the middle of it, dump the pass off, and finish the shot. So now we got about 5 minutes left in the game, and Moccasins are up by 4. I'd also like to make mention of the fact that Madison Tear now has 5 assists in this game, and, you know, typically a big scorer, but this game she has 5 assists.
And Flagler is going to change things up. Greta McGinnis on this draw. 6'0" Greta McGinnis against 5'4" Maria Reeves. So Allie Miller is spelled. And possession to Florida Southern. And the Saints slowly feeling this one slipping from their grip. Only 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Down by 4. And Florida Southern with the ball.
With only being 4 minutes left, Bruce, you're really going to look for Flagler to go in a high-pressure defense here. You have 4 minutes left. You're down by 4 goals. You need the ball. I'm very shocked that they're still in a very laid-back defense right now. They're not shutting off adjacents. They're not pressuring ball. I'll be very surprised to see when they go into that.
Yeah, and to your point, if you're Florida Southern, you might as well just hang out outside and wait and see if they do chase you and just continue to kill clock. There's a pass in front, ends up in the stick of Madison Tear. And 45 still on the shot clock. So an opportunity for Florida Southern to kill plenty of clock. There's a pass for Gianna Murphy and a whistle.
And you'll see that Flagler started going out in that high-pressure defense out on Madison Tear there. But Flagler just slid a little bit too early. Left the Moccasins player wide open right there. By the time she slid back, she was in shooting space. So Florida Southern's going to be awarded the free position there on that first inside hash.
Gianna Murphy and gives up the pass. Stoller sends it over, dropped, and 2 of them battle for it. Still not possessed by either team. And the official right there on the spot to call that one. The Mocs still with the ball. And in front, they score. That's Gianna Murphy. And dare I say, that might just seal the deal for Florida Southern.
Lizzie Lynch was able to free herself from her defender because, again, Flagler's not putting that high-pressure defense out there. So she was able to get a quite easy assist there to Murphy, who was wide open there in the middle. So, again, Bruce, I'm going to say I'm very shocked that Flagler is not doing a more high-pressure defense to get this ball back. You now have a 5-goal differential. And if I'm the Flagler's head coach, I'm telling my team, like, we need the ball.
Yeah, you really feel this slipping away from Flagler, and you really feel Florida Southern really putting a chokehold on. And with only 3:16 left, of course, anything can happen. But the momentum has clearly swung Florida Southern's way as we see McGinnis and Maria Reeves on this draw. Ball is out. And a bunch of them battle for it, and Flagler able to come up with it. And off to the races goes Pinder. Pinder still with it. Pass over now for Morton. Morton sends it in behind the net. And similarly, they need to play with urgency on offense. And there's a shot by LaFerrier that stopped. And that's going to go out of bounds. Kicked by a Florida Southern player. Possession stays with Flagler. But the point being that you can't work for the perfect shot. You need to start shooting. 2.5 left in regulation. I just don't know that I see that urgency, Morgan, from Flagler's offense.
Yeah, you're not seeing urgency. You know, Moccasins are staying in their backer defense. Flagler knows how to beat it. They know they have to move the ball quickly, and they're trying to go 1v1, and it's not going to work in a backer defense. You've got to move the ball quick, but you got to do it with a sense of urgency, especially being down by 5 with only 2 minutes left in the game.
And Stoller looking for an open teammate as she crosses midfield. Long pass ahead that connects with McFerrin. McFerrin slips by a defender, but she's content just to kill time. Stoller sends it over for Murphy, and now to Dalio, and back over for Stoller again. Down to 125, I'm going to say, left in the game now. And Stoller, slipped by a defender. Murphy over now for McFerrin, and into the corner it goes. 65 seconds left in the game, and still 25 on the shot clock. The Mocs doing a good job of using up as much clock as they can. Some pressure finally, and there's a shot that is stopped by Rabodnera. And with only 42 seconds left, Flagler will start it up, but it's going to be too little too late. As the Mocs have outscored Flagler 11-5 in this second half. A game that was a 1-goal difference at halftime.
They're going to give the Moccasins a yellow card there. I get there's only 25 seconds left, but I'm not sure how dangerous that play was. Obviously, the official thought it was dangerous enough to award a yellow card, so.
That's Abby McFerrin, who the call is against for Florida Southern, and Lexi Morton is the Flagler player that you saw down, picking herself up.
With only 25 seconds left on the clock. Not much Flagler can really do at this point with the Moccasins having a 5-goal lead.
And cutting to the net, ball knocked loose. And the official blows the play dead with just 16 seconds remaining. And this will be Ella Pinder with a free position attempt. 1-on-1 against Rittberg. Pinder breaks in, scores! So Ella Pinder gets her 5th goal of the game. So Pinder and Morton will have accounted for, you might as well say, well, not might as well, it is mathematically 2/3 of the Saints' goals. And technically that is considered an extra attacker goal, because keep in mind there was the call that had been made against Abby McFerrin. And so we'll see what should be the final draw of the game, as Maria Reeves is out there one more time. And for Flagler, that was Caitlin Trainer on the draw. That's Trainer with the ball. 6 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Will she even get a shot away? No. And the horn goes. The game is over. And Florida Southern has defeated Flagler College 19-15. And as I mentioned, a big second half for the winners. 11-6. They outscore Flagler.
Yeah, that was a big second half there for the Moccasins. And to come up with 11 goals in the second half and to step up defensively, you know, they didn't make the switch over to that backer defense until closer to the end of that first half, and they stuck with it the whole entire second half, and it seemed to work out with their favor. But also, Bruce, let's make mention of the fact that Kara Reber and her goalie coach, Rachel, also decided to switch their goalie as well, and that seemed to clearly help the Moccasins in that second half of this game.
Yeah, great performance from Riley Rittberg. She ends up playing 33 minutes and 29 seconds. That makes 12 saves and allows 7 goals for the victory. And, of course, want to acknowledge on the Flagler side, as I mentioned in the waning moments, Ella Pinder and Lexi Morton each finishing with 5 goals. But, Morgan, as you pointed out a few times, as much as you look at someone like Jackie Stoller getting 4 goals or Haley Dalio getting 5, even Gianna Murphy had 4. Really has got to jump out at you that Madison Tear finishes with 6 points on the strength of 1 goal and 5 assists.
Yeah, you'll notice here on the Moccasin side, you have Stoller that has a total of 5 points, 4 goals, 1 assist. You have Lizzie Lynch with 2 goals, 3 assists, and you have Madison Tear with 1 goal, 5 assists. Big assist game there for the Moccasins, and clearly that made them become very successful. And you're also going to notice that Madison Tear not only had a big assist game, she had a huge game on the draw. She had 6 draw controls. So, you know, this is just one of those situations where you want your players to know it's not all about scoring. It's, you know, there's so many different ways that you can have an impact on the field. And, you know, that comes down to Madison Tear with 5 assists and 6 draw controls. You have Lizzie Lynch, who's an attacker, who has 2 caused turnovers as an attacker, which tells you that the Moccasins were, you know, doing a really heavy ride, and that really changes the outcome of the game. So a big shout out to the players that, you know, may not have had a high scoring game, but they definitely were very impactful in other ways on the field today.
Yeah, and it's worth noting, as you're pointing out about the game that Madison Tear had, that she had 52 goals and quote-unquote only 15 assists in 16 games. So today she was happy to be the setup man, the setup gal, instead of the scorer. And they used her effort and several others for a 19-15 win. Final shots on goal were 27-26 in favor of Flagler. And the draw controls very close, 19-18 in favor of Florida Southern. 11 turnovers by Flagler, 10 by the Mocs. The score that counts the most, though, 19-15. Florida Southern is victorious, and lots of fans here cheering them as they celebrate on the field.
Now, Bruce, I didn't want to be the one that told you before the UT Rollins game started that I had the gut feeling that going into bracket play to move on to the next, you know, set of games, that it was going to be University of Tampa versus Florida Southern. So we now have round 3 of these 2 teams going against each other. So that is going to be such an exciting matchup for Sunday's game. And I'll be honest with you, both teams are extremely competitive. They're fast. They're aggressive, not just on the offensive end, but the defensive end and their rides. It's going to be a great matchup, and we'll see who comes out with this win on Sunday.
It's also going to be interesting in that in the first 2 games that they played against each other, not only did UT win both times, but they only won by 1 goal each time. And they always say in sports, it's so hard to beat a team 3 times. And so it's going to be quite a challenge for the Spartans. They do have the home field advantage, but it's also NCAA, and all those advantages that you think you have all go out the window as soon as that horn goes to start the game on Sunday. And it will be a rematch of what was the Sunshine State Conference Championship that UT ended up winning. But for now, the important thing for Florida Southern fans, their team defeats Flagler to stay alive. And that game on Sunday, by the way, will be at 12 noon Eastern Time. My thanks, as always, to Andre Pyatt. For Morgan Basler-Pease, I'm Bruce Wozniak, thanking you for watching. Florida Southern wins it over Flagler.